Breaking down the biggest games in college football for us each and every week, Steve Merrill from wagertalk.com. And of course, it's rivalry week, and this is one of the big ones. Oregon State, of course, improving as a program has made this significant on a national level as well. Oregon State, a 13.5 point favorite or underdog, taking on an Oregon team, Steve, that's just continues to be impressive week to week.
Yeah, and you and I have talked about this a few times. If you had to feel for one team this year that's so far, at least on the outside looking in for the playoffs, it's Oregon. They had the unfortunate of having to play Washington on the road. You don't get a home and home like you do in college basketball. They were a 3-point dog. They go in there and they lose by 3, miss a field goal late for overtime, and outgain them by over 100 yards. So theoretically, I thought they outplayed Washington, and they definitely broke even, as a 3-point dog losing by 3, yet they get penalized because of the loss, and they're on the outside looking in. And yes, if they continue to win, I think they could work their way in, especially with, Michigan, Ohio State, one of those teams having to get a loss as well after this week. But you do worry about their focus a little bit for this game because this is a dangerous underdog. We always talk about rival dogs this time of year, and Oregon State obviously qualifies as a dangerous rival dog, not only as kind of the little brother in this series, but also a team that's very capable this season. But then again, Oregon State had maybe their bowl game last week at home against undefeated Washington. I liked the Beavers last week. That's one of the games I missed. I got a lot of games right, but the one of them I missed last week was Oregon State. I thought that was an upset alert, although they went off as a favorite. They would have called that an upset, even though Oregon State went off as a couple-point favorite. But you do worry after the last home game, now that they have to travel, if it could linger. Let's look at my database simulation. As it's done all season long, it's favored Oregon. It favors Oregon in this game by about 18 points. Current line is 13.5. There are some 14s out there. Obviously, 14 is a very key number, but at 13.5 or less, which is widely available right now, it does look like the line value is with the Ducks. And you do worry if Oregon State maybe comes in a little beat up after that near miss against Washington last week.
You can catch Steve Merrill's Under the Radar selection where? Right here at the Voice of College Football as a YouTube channel member or on Patreon, joining us in our Voice of College Football community, patreon.com/MarkRogersTV, or again, as a YouTube channel member on the main channel, you get Steve's Under the Radar selection. Why would you want that? He's 20-5 against the spread since week 1 of 2022. Steve, thank you so much for stopping by as always.